Hey guys, what's going on everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever you're tuning in from around the world. Great to have you here. I'm going to do a full EVO breakdown. I'm going to try to do one this week. So definitely stay tuned for that. But right now we're going to get into this breakdown of myself versus Ceelows, who I believe is from New York. A good Sakura player that I played at EVO on the stage. I didn't get many matches on stream, so I'm gonna have to work with the ones we've got. And yeah, I just wanted to do like a final round breakdown. Obviously the final round is, the penultimate round is the most important. It's where everything that has been tried and tested in the match culminates, all the reads, everything, all the information built up around your opponent. That's where you kind of maximize on that to get the kill. So yeah, I just wanted to go into the last round of the final game and start there. So I mean, if you guys want a full breakdown, I can do that. But yeah, so for today, okay, so I got the CA finish. But for today, I'm just going to talk about the final round. So, guys, final rounds are usually a question of what's been happening before that. What's the build-up? What kind of conditioning have you put in place? What have they done on you? And kind of memory is a big deal. Memory is a big deal. If you can't remember it, you're at a massive deficit when you're going into like a final round scenario, because your opponent, for example, may have been thinking of everything you've been doing. They might have just been adding up all the information, collecting all the data, and now you're going into a final round against an opponent that has an ironclad plan for victory, and you don't know where they're coming from, the left, the right, what, because you haven't been collecting the information with them. Do you know what I mean? So it's very, very important when someone is, playing against you and they have a certain amount of meter, or they have a certain amount of patterns that you've noticed. I think it's really important to kind of remember what they do, just simply because you want to have the upper hand going into a round that's going to cost you or win you the tournament or the match. You don't want to feel like you're on the back foot, because that also affects your decision making. So you kind of want to be in a scenario where you are in a place to control. Everything is about maintaining control. And if you can't maintain control, being able to re-establish control when you need to. This is also important. Now, in this round, we finished the last round with a CA, as you can see, yeah? So I, dominant crush, get the win. I didn't have any meter going to the final round. Ceelows has 1 EX bar. Yeah, but that's not a CA round, that doesn't matter. Why is an EX bar important? An EX bar can mean an EX fireable trade into me getting knocked down into a dash up throw. So automatically, just that 1 EX bar means I could lose 40%. Okay, 30, 40%. It could mean that. It could mean that. Now, on the back of that, I could think, okay, I'm going to reduce my fireballs because I don't want to get the trade situation, or I don't want to get hit out of my fireball into a knockdown where I have to take a mix-up. The problem with that, although as a base mentality that's actually quite smart, it doesn't really cost me the game if I just eat an EX fireball knockdown into a throw mid-screen. He doesn't get a setup. He doesn't really have anything else afterwards because there's no resources. He's not going to be able to set up trigger off that because he doesn't have it yet. So the risk reward there is not terrible. If I can set up because people often underestimate the power of zoning, the kind of control that initiates. If I can maintain order through my zoning, I can get everything I want. So it's a question of, do I want to submit to the threat of the EX bar, or do I want to continue my current game plan, which is already working, of maintaining a certain distance and playing a zoning game to establish control and collect information? And this is what that is, Fireballs are not just throwing fireballs. You're collecting information while you do that, aren't you? You're seeing, does he block them? Does he V-shift? Does he jump over them? Does he match fireball for fireball? What does he do about what I'm giving him? And it's very much a question of collecting data when you're zoning. A lot of people watch like a mirror match. Oh, he's just throwing fireball. This is so boring. No, they're collecting information. They're watching how the other responds to each projectile thrown, and they're responding accordingly. And this is key. This is key, which is why a lot of the time you'll see zoning battles, but once they get close to each other, they both know exactly what to do. It's like, This is their first interaction. How comes they're so... Because they've been collecting information all the time. They're at the back of the screen. So that's what that is. So yeah, start the round here. So I've got no meter. Now, he might think I'm not going to throw fireballs because he has the EX bar. Or he could jump in. It's a risky... it's a scenario where jumping could score... could net him some massive damage plus the upper hand. Massive damage into Oki... and then more pressure, which is also going to build him more resources. Probably get a second EX off of that, right? So the thing is, never let them know your next move, okay? Never let them know your next move. You can't just give in to the visuals on a game. You can't just obey what the screen tells you. Sometimes you have to go above and beyond that. You have to go around the normal, okay? I think Kakashi says something about that, doesn't he? But yeah, it is definitely a question of looking at what you're trying to get from your opponent and how you can still get that by maintaining a certain order. So there's a fireball. So I'm straight away, I'm showing him, even though you've got an EX bar and I've got none, don't think that zoning is not a thing now. You can't just run up on me now, because that's the other problem. If you stop fireballing, people start running up on you, start dashing in, checking you low, dashing in deep. Like, people start to express themselves more. You'll start seeing perfect footsie spacing and all that stuff coming into play. Zoning disturbs all that. Now, here, he's seen walking up for standing hard kick range, and then I respond with another fireball, and he responds with his Hadouken. Okay? So there we have a stalemate mid-screen. These things are all fine. We continue. Another fireball. So you can see here, I'm not just showing him that fireball's there, but I'm also I'm establishing a dominance in the zoning. You threw a fireball, hey, I'm doubling up. Here's another. What do you want to do about this? And I'm asking him constantly, what do you want to do about these metallic spheres I'm throwing at you? Hey, here's another one. Here you go, And because metallic sphere is a risk, you can't be too predictable in how you throw them. So yes, I'm consistently making it a thing that they're there, but it's not to the point where, well, I'm just going to jump this one and take 30, 40, 50%. There we see a second standing hard kick. So Ceelows is looking for damage here. He's looking for damage. We had a hard kick before, and we had another hard kick now. Now, arguably, this is his longest poke, so maybe he's just looking to touch with something. But that is also her crush counter button. If you're looking for crush counter mid-range, you're looking for standing hard kick with Sakura. Everyone knows this. Followed into V-skill or dash up into jab. She's got options, right? So the thing is, I'm okay playing at that space, because the entire match, you'll notice that I keep him at that range we're at now, and dictate when that range is closed, for the most part. Ceelows had some really good reads on me, and he had a very good understanding of, he seemed to have a very good understanding of, what I wanted to go for in certain situations. So obviously I also had to be careful. He did wake up jab, so maybe he was expecting a dash after that. But yeah, so yeah, I did a delayed crouch medium kick. This is pretty good, because if he wakes up with an EX, I'll block it. If he doesn't, I get a safe check at that range. We're playing a distance game, so standing up is pretty, let's say, common. So a crouch medium kick, a delayed crouch medium kick after a back throw is pretty useful. The other good thing about delay buttons on the opponent's wake up is you get to see what they do. They give you something. They give you something back. You get information. You get to collect data. I mean, let's take the scenario that when they wake up, you throw them. Let's say that when they wake up, you do like a meaty throw. Okay? You do a meaty throw and it gets them. Now, okay, it's cool. You threw them. You took some damage. But you don't really know what they wanted to do. Did they try to wake up and walk back? Did they just crouch and block? Did they wake up with a button? You don't know what they did. So you don't really get any info there. Okay, my throw worked, but what was he going for? What was his mindset? What was his choice of action here? You know, how can I utilize that to my advantage the next time? You know, what did my throw tell him? And you always want to be on top of that in a matchup, right? Especially in a short set where we're talking about like a best of 3 scenario and stuff like that. So just a small example of how delaying buttons on the opponent's wake up can be useful for collecting information. So let's move forward a bit. Got me with the EX Fireball. Yeah, that was the one. So the thing with the EX Fireball is those slow EX Fireballs tend to not link if they're attached to... If the first hit gets tagged by a long-range limb, the second hit doesn't combo. That was a complete accident, but that's also a thing with that move. You know what I mean? Like, see how the first hit... That was mad. So, like, the first hit caught my standing medium punch, and then the second hit just didn't hit, and I got to block it. And that's a shame. You know, he's essentially on plus now after me blocking the second hit, but he gets no damage, no knockdown, and he's at a range where he doesn't really get any damage either. He doesn't really get a setup from there. So I've got kind of like a lucky, you know, a bit lucky here that I was able to just block that out. But yeah, you know, it's a shame. But that's one of those things with moves like that where, you know, if they tag a limb early, then the second it doesn't connect and stuff like that. But that's also connected to where he decided to use it, right? So he was very much backing himself into the corner and he wanted an owl. He wanted some space back. He wanted to force me to respect where he was. So it was a good choice from that perspective because look where we end up. Now we end up fully back in mid-screen. He's on the attack with standing hard kick. You know, does he get me? Oh, okay, he doesn't get me, but he only eats a jab. So in terms of risk-reward and in terms of what he got what he wanted. He wanted his space back, clearly. He spent a bar and then dashed up behind it for, you know, for pressure. But he also got some very important space back. You don't want to go in the corner on this game against anyone, really. So, very good. But then, you know, it didn't really connect, which is a shame. But then we're back to this space again. Like I've told you, I've been making sure he stays at this space, okay? That range there. We've been playing the entire set, and you'll see where I've been repositioning back to that all the time. Why? Why do I keep going back to that space? Well, glad you asked. The reason I'm maintaining order at that space is because that is a clean space where I can use all my effective tools. Quarrel kick, standing hard punch, standing medium punch. I can whiff punish with crouch medium punch as well. It is a really good spacing for knee drop. So if he wants to get, you know, fancy with a lot of fireballs, I have that available at that space. Look at that space. Look at that space. That is perfect for knee drops, isn't it? It's so hard to anti-air knee drops at that space. And I think I even get one on him at that exact spacing at some point in the game too. So that forces Sakura to need 2 things for big damage. She needs to either dash in or she needs to jump in, which are both crazy risks, especially against Urian. So, but if you're not doing that, you're not getting big damage. She has to do that to get big damage. She's not going to get many standing hard kick crush counters. And because he wasn't confirming standing light kick or crouching medium kick into Shoken, there was no threat from her at that space. For Sakura to win at that space, she has to be confirming standing light kick or crouching medium kick. And he tagged me with a lot of those. But because he wasn't confirming, it didn't really bother me. Okay, I'll just take the damage. That's fine. And the second thing that I want to put some attention to on this is when you go into a match against an opponent, there are the 2 elements that you have to think about. The character, the virtual character in the software, and the physical character in your opponent. What is your opponent's makeup in that situation? Is he confident? Is he nervous? You know, is he comfortable with his controller? Whatever. You know, everything. And then the character, is the character like an S tier character? Is it a good matchup for your character? Do you know the matchup? Are you confident versus that character? You know, there are these 2 things. That's the bifurcation of your opponent in a tournament. You always have to think about that. What's the collection of facts here? Do I have the upper hand? And so on. So most of you know I haven't been playing Street Fighter V for the longest time. think the last time I played Street Fighter 5 seriously was season 1. We're talking 2016. And so for me coming back, there's a lot that I've had to take in. Of course, I've been playing on and off, but we're talking, you know, EVO level, like the top level, going to a CPT Premier and you know, getting to Grand Final, stuff like that. My activity for that hasn't been happening since 2016 because I just haven't had the same amount of time. I haven't had a super comfortable character for the longest time either. So EVO for me with this year was just a bit of fun. But I also wanted to do my best with what I currently have, and I haven't been training. So you have to make do with what you can, right? So I'm letting you know that to kind of illustrate that even if you're not in the best shape, even if you don't have the strongest character, you know, see, we all know how badly Urian has been nerfed this season. You know, even if all the things are not necessarily stacked in your favor, there is a way to be successful. There is a way to be, you know, to be confident, you know, and it's about understanding the collection of elements around your opponent, you know, and because that also helps. If you know that your opponent's character is just ridiculously strong and you have not put any time into that matchup, then if you lose, you don't have to feel bad because you don't know anything about what's going on there. You haven't put yourself in a position to win. And that's different to, I did everything I could, I knew the matchup, but I just messed up. That's different because, you know, one allows you to kind of accept defeat easily because you know that you weren't prepared to win. And the other one is a situation where you can legitimately be mortified because you expected better from a situation you had knowledge on. And, you know, so in both scenarios, the player loses, but it's the elements around it that decide how you take the loss. All right, let's move it forward a bit more. More metallic spheres, keeping him at that space. Nice whiff punish there with the standing hard kick. I hadn't used many of those chops. I hadn't used that many, but he caught me with that full charged one. Nice whiff punish. And yes, he's fishing for crouching medium kick. And yeah, so also if you create a certain play from a certain space, your opponent's options are so limited that it almost becomes quite predictable. Because what does Sakura really have from there? All she has is fireball, crouching medium kick, standing hard kick, and a block punish. And maybe a jump. Do you know what I mean? So, block punishing and jumping in are and dashing are 3 elements that I can take responsibility for. I can take responsibility for when I dash, and I can take responsibility for checking her dash. Or well, his dash when he dashes into me. I can take responsibility for when I jump, and I can take responsibility for anti-airing when my opponent jumps towards me. I can take responsibility for my spacing when I press certain normals so that I don't get either block punished or whiff punished. And I can take responsibility for when buttons are thrown out that I can check. So those are the 3 points where if you get hit, you can be like, yeah, okay, he got me. Because those 6 points, you have control. A lot of people like to talk about SF5 in a way that kind of claims that you have no control. Oh, my opponent has that now, there's nothing I can do. There are lots of things you can do in most cases. Okay? Ultimately, yes, there are scenarios where it comes down to 50-50 guesses and you know what are called more gamble scenarios. Fine. But for those 3 points, dashing, jumping, and limb tagging, you can do something about that. You can do something about it. Play on PC. No. So yeah. Then for the rest, you know, there's some guesswork going on. You know, where we just press a button to see like, okay, what's going on here. Might check something or whatever. You know, in lots of matchups that happens. But those guesswork reads are more based on experience. Players tend to dash here, so let me check. You know, it's not a reaction. It's not a conditioning thing. It's just an experience thing. You know, sometimes when I play certain Japanese players, they might do something because the guys where they live do this here. So they get something prepared for that scenario. You know, it might seem like this ridiculously sick read. How did he know? But that's just an experience thing based on who they've played. So yeah, those are those things too. And it's often important to know, how did he hit me with that? Was that this or this? You know, it's important to know, did he just react there? Or was it a read? Was it just an experience thing? You know, so yeah. All right, let's continue. Guess the throw. Oh, I took almost every throw. I took because why do I need to tech the throw? We're talking about 45% damage if he frame traps me. I give him a ton of resources, and it's a great confidence boost. If you get like a counter hit mid screen into like crazy damage, walk, corner carry, and all that goodness, that's great. Now, the throw, I don't want to take a throw. I don't want to eat any damage. But what's the worst of the two evils? You know what? You have to take something. Street Fighter 5. You got to take something. You got to take something. So you got to decide what you want to take. You want to eat a crush counter trying to backdash? What do you want here? You know? Now, the other thing is, if the character's throw doesn't give them anything afterwards, then it's okay, because you're out after that. If you eat a massive chunky combo, okay, you've eaten that chunky combo, but you're not out now. You'll eat that chunky combo, and then okay, you'll eat that same throw anyway afterwards. You're after you eat that combo that ends in her fierce shuriken, I'm in that same combo situation again. Is it another chin buster? Is it a standing medium kick? What's happening now? You end up taking the throw anyway. So you might as well just take the throw and be out. And then the other thing is I've got quite a lot of health. So what taking the throw does actually builds me V-trigger. Once I have V-trigger, half of her options are gone. She can't do standing hard kick. She can't really fireball. She's not jumping in. She can't neutral jump. Like, she has to literally take everything once I have V-trigger. So eating throws is a good strategy for building resources, because SF5 is a comeback game. SF5 is not designed to have your strongest strategies be played out in neutral. Your strongest tactics come into play once you have resources, and to build resources, you need to be hit or you need to V-skill. So visually, it looks like you're being thrown around like a ragdoll. Oh my god, he never takes. Wow, this is crazy. But actually, inside of your regular gameplay, plus taking small hits here and there. You notice how I only take small things. A crouching medium kick here, a standing light kick there, a throw here, a fireball there. Only small hits. There are very few combos that I eat in this set. Mainly because I set the matchup in a way that makes it hard for him to get full combos on me. Then on the plus side, once I saw he wasn't like confirming with like crouch medium into DP, because you got to do those confirms. You got to do those confirms. If you don't do those confirms, that is a massive psychological confidence boost for the opponent. Massive. If you play a Ken player and he does crouch medium kick and there's no fierce DP, you're in paradise. Oh, this is great. I'm gonna play this guy all day. This is easy. Because he's not maximizing on opportunity, and it means that your defense doesn't need to be as good. And you can take little hits here and there because you're building resources. Remember that. If you're just taking jabs and mediums, that's great. That's probably one of the best ways to build V-trigger. Just take jabs and mediums. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really hurt, does it? Take a few jabs and mediums. Take a throw here and there. V-trigger. Hello. With Sakura, when I used to play Sakura, I used to do crouch medium light tatsu. If I couldn't confirm fierce DP on reaction, I used to do crouch medium kick light tatsu. It leaves me at -2, but I get the check for the damage. And people would start blocking crouch medium kick because they don't want to get the tatsu into whatever I've got afterwards. You know? It's not punishable on block. Yes, it puts me into a space where I'm uncomfortable, but it's a great way to check them for free. It's a great way to, if they do stand up, I get the crouch medium tatsu, and then it's game time after that as well. So yeah, that's how I used to get around the problem of, like, you know, if I'm not confident confirming, or if I'm nervous because it's a big tournament, I'm on stage and there's like millions of people watching around the world, then I'm just gonna do my safe option. You know what I mean? Especially now with V-shift. I mean, you could kind of get out of trouble. You know, you just do that and then V-shift out if you're really uncomfortable. So yeah, I do that. But yeah, he didn't do anything. He didn't even do fireball. He just did crouch medium kick. And I'm guessing he just wasn't comfortable. He probably does it all the time, you know, at home or whatever. But yeah, it can be difficult on a big stream if you haven't been in that scenario that often, and then suddenly it's like, wow, you've got to play these 2 matches and you've got to do everything to the best of your ability. It's hard to draw that from yourself sometimes. So yeah, anyway, don't want to talk your ears off, guys, but let me continue the round. Let's get back into it. Oh, nice. Caught me again with that. Fireball. Oh, there's the knee drop. You see the spacing for that? It is very, very difficult at that spacing. If you're not super ready, you can get caught. That spacing there, you see that? That is the spacing there. Light kick, knee drop. Because that spacing, I could dash, I could fireball, I could throw a button out. Quarrel kick's a thing. Quarrel punch is a thing. Like, there's so many options from there. I think even light tackle, I think I need to walk back a touch. But if I walk back a little bit now and do light tackle, it's probably safe. There's so many options from here that the last thing you expect is that to come out. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, it's not like I'd done many knee drops, right? There hadn't been many knee drops in the set. Never let them know your next move, right? So the knee drop gets him. That's some damage. That's good for me. Another fireball. Okay, V-shift. He V-shifts there. Okay. We'll get to that. So, more fireballs. Ooh, caught him there. I thought he wouldn't be ready for that dash timing, because it was a bit. I changed the timing to kind of screw with his timing, and it worked wonders. I've done a few dash throws. I'd conditioned the throw timing. I knew when he teched, exactly when, like what frame he presses the throw buttons. So I knew which button I needed to get the counter hit with. Because Urian has a lot of counter hit buttons. Sometimes you use standing medium punch or standing fierce. You know, you want the 7 frame, that slow techer, that person who likes to delay tech. You use the standing chop or the standing medium punch. And you've got the people that have like really good reactions. They do, they tech quicker. And for those guys, you sometimes use the crouch medium kick, 6 frames, or even dash jab. I don't know, for those of you that remember, but when season 1 happened, when Urian first dropped in season 1, he could do jab, counter hit, crouch fierce. It was a 3-hit combo. Crazy. Anyway, yeah, so by dashing and throwing people, you kind of get an idea of when they like to tech, when they tech and stuff. But I'd caught him with a few dash throws, so it was more like an emergency button press for him when I did the crouch medium, especially as he just whiffed a jab. So yeah, it worked out better than I could have. Even if I had planned that the day before, it couldn't have been better. You know what I mean? But yeah, also it's just 355. You could have just blocked as well. So yeah. All right, so I get the counter hit combo, big damage, get some space back as well. Now, this standing hard kick. What you have to recognize is this is fatal positioning. If my standing hard kick hits, it's over. The set is done. Why is that the choice of move? Throw won't kill him here. Standing hard kick will. But the other amazing benefit about standing hard kick, and I'm not sure people know this that play against Urian, but the reason why I use standing hard kick here is most players like to V-reversal. I mean, every single player that I play on CFN, if you go to a replay of me and that person and watch me do standing hard kick, they probably V-reversal. They do. They like to V-reversal. She's probably going to do her floral spin now. I mean, they like to V-reversal. They don't want to take the +2 at close proximity. They want the space back. They want to get him off them, so they V-reversal. So the reason I used V-reversal here is so that he wouldn't have access to his strongest tool, which is V-trigger. The second he V-reversaled me, the game was mine. Because now I've got 52 seconds to do whatever I want to him. And there is no way he can build that bar back. I have Aegis and I almost have CA. I've just got 52 seconds to find out how I can land those on him. Whereas he has 1 EX bar and that is it. That is it. I have the life lead and I have all the resources. So the standing hard kick, Yes, it's a measure of going for the kill, you could say. But come on, at this level, am I really going to land that? No. The point of standing hard kick is to either A, make them take +2 close range, which I know that people don't want to do, especially when the Urian's got almost got CA, and it's just it's not an ideal situation for anybody. You know, what's the situation here? Look, I almost have Aegis and I almost have CA. If he took that with those 2 EX bars, the game was done. Okay? The game was over if he took that. Now, the problem with taking that, you could say, yeah, but he could just take that. Okay. What could go wrong? Okay, so if he takes my standing hard kick on block, I could throw him. If he just tries to down back, I could throw him. And then he's in real bad trouble, because then it's like even normals are a problem, right? You don't want to take any normals either. So if he takes my standing hard kick, I'm at +2. I could throw him. If he walks back, I could crouch medium kick him here. And then who knows, maybe even a crouch light jab, medium tackle, or medium tackle CA might even charge by then. You know, or yeah, crouch medium kick, crouch light punch, EX headbutt, EX tackle. I mean, it's not pretty. Whatever you get hit by now, it's not looking great. Do you know what I mean? So there's a big reason why V reversaling here is a good option. But the setup off of that is that you don't get access to V trigger. You have to strip the opponent's options from them, but in a way that they don't realize you're doing it. Because standing hard kick has been done forever. Do you really think that players like Nemo think Daigo's going to get hit by a stand? No, but he just does it so that the V reversal comes out. Now Daigo doesn't have his V trigger for the sonic booms, because that's a headache for Urian to deal with. I don't want to have to deal with Sakura's fireball pressure. Let me take that away, so now we can play my game again. Okay, now I got my Aegis. Let's see what you got now. So it's very, very tactical. You know, the decision making in the final round of a set is very psychological, it's very tactical, and it's very deliberate. You know, it's very deliberate. I got in with that juicy counter hit, and once I was in, I wanted to do something important. I wanted to do something of value. I can't necessarily get the kill. I mean, you could argue I could go for a frame trap here, but going for a frame trap here is really dangerous. What if he presses like a 3-frame? You know, what if he does something on me and gets me in something? He's got trigger here, he's got a bar. You know, that's problematic for me. So I'm going to do something where I know you're going to take it, and then V reversal, get you off me, get me off you, and then we play my game, you know? So yeah, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, he got me off, got some nice grey health there, and he actually took the life lead away. You know, I mean, I still have a slight lead, but it's not really a lead as such. You know, we're not on 1 second, right? So here was no meter for him and no chance of trigger. So it's pretty bad. And even now I could even take a throw, because after that there's no setup. But he doesn't throw me, he goes for a shimmy because he needs damage. A throw wasn't enough for him. He needed something that hurt. So he went for the smart thing of going for a shimmy. That would have been fierce, V-skill, DP into a mix-up for the game. So that was a good option for him to go for. But I'm not taking the bait. No, I'm not taking the bait. I'm not backdashing. No, I'm not. I will block. I will take your throw, and I'll be back to neutral over here, sitting pretty. But he didn't do that. So I got out for, let's say, quote-unquote, free here. And so here we go. I'm backing up for space. And here he's in big trouble. Here he's in big, big trouble. I mean, from here, if he fireballs Night Aegis, I think it's over. Because I can do light headbutt, hard tackle, CA. You know, light headbutt whiffs, hard tackle chases down, the fireball hits him, tackle hits CA, right? Or is it medium headbutt? Yeah, well, it depends. I think here I might need medium headbutt. But yeah, that was an option that I was thinking of. If I saw a fireball, I was going to do it, but it didn't happen. And then he closes the space, standing hard kick, nicely done. But again, now that there's no trigger, I don't care about all that. Standing hard kick. So, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. That's where it was really important that I took that away from him. So yeah, I'm showing him, hey, crouch medium kicks not your friend today. If this hits you, it's a wrap. So I get my space back. And if you notice, when I show the crouch medium kicks, he actually walks in slightly slower. You know, he's not that up for getting into that space, because I mean, I wouldn't be either. It's the game, right? But also the other thing is that this space, EX tackle aegis is a big thing. So even pressing normals now is terminal, you know? And at the space where he was successful with the standing hard kick, I kind of lured him into that space. And when he went for it, I was just out of the space by a few pixels, and then I whiff punished with the aegis. And that is the end of the game, you know? And that's how the cookie crumbles. But yeah, there's a lot that went on in that set. In that one round, I've managed to fill all this time. But yeah, I just wanted to explain to you guys that there's a lot that happens in those seconds of a round even. And I'm not sure people recognize how deep the game can actually be at times, where there's a lot of thought process, there's a lot of decision making, there's a lot of strategic changes mid-round, there's all kinds of things that happen. So yeah, just wanted to show you that. But that was the moment, guys. That was the moment when victory was secured. At that moment, it was 2-0 to me. There was no way. There's just too much of an uphill battle for Sakura. She would need some magic. She would need magic, like a jump in. You need, like, I would have to screw up here. I would have to mess something up. But as long as I play smart, you're not winning that. You're not, even though we've got the same health, it doesn't matter. I've got all the things that matter at the bottom of the screen. You know, now, you know, you have to take a massive risk here, you know? And yeah, there it is. It's just too hard. Especially Urian, he's got so much range anyway, you know? So yeah, and that was it. But yeah, good stuff from Ceelows. He had some good positioning. He started to kind of get more into the set as it went on. Like, he started to understand more things, and yeah, his timing got better, and he started to look a bit more confident. I think one thing with Ceelows is he didn't seem that confident. Everything was about what he thinks is going to work. It didn't seem like he had a solid... I don't know if you guys know what I mean. If you watch the whole set, maybe if I go back a little bit and just show you a little bit, like, it was almost like he wasn't sure of himself in certain situations. I could be completely wrong here. I don't know him. I can't ask him. But yeah, I had the feeling that there was some doubt there. He wasn't really sure what to press, what to go for. Do you know what I mean? And he did what worked, which is good. You know, he took consistent routes and just did what worked. You know, throw's always working. I'm going to go for that. You know, that's smart. You know, if it hasn't stopped working, why would you stop doing it, right? Great. But yeah, like, there were so many times he checked me, but no follow-up. And I just thought, oh, he's nervous then. Like, if you watch the whole set, he got like a few like sick standing light kick checks or punishes and crouching medium kick checks off the throw and stuff like that. But there was never a follow-up, like even one time. And it's just like, oh, okay. So he's not on his game. You know, like when you're on it, everything's coming out. It just, and again, I haven't spoken to him. I don't know him. So I don't know if that's the case. But it's what the communication that we had in those two matches showed me. It kind of showed me that there's some nerves there, which is understandable. It's the biggest weekend of fighting games of the year, right? So of course there's reason to be like nervous. But yeah, I did notice that in the set, and you know, and I think it's fine to be nervous. I think one ability that you learn is how to hide where you're uncomfortable in a match. Sometimes you can be uncomfortable, but you have a way of not displaying that for the opponent to kind of take advantage of. If that makes sense. But yeah, I did notice that, and to some degree probably did, you know, give me more confidence as well. You know, it's like, oh yeah, there you see, beautiful crouching medium kick in the corner, but here, beautiful, but no confirm, and it just looked a bit unsure. He looked a bit unsure. Nice check on the dash, brilliant stuff. And again, did you see that? Another crouching medium kick, but there was just nothing behind it. And the most powerful thing, guys, I'm going to teach you some gold right now, okay? Make sure you got your notepads, okay? one of the most powerful things on Street Fighter V is understanding where your opponent is focused. Not just where your opponent is focused, that's layer 1. So, i.e. he's waiting for me to dash to check my dash with crouch jab. I.e. he's waiting for me to jump so he can anti-air me with this move. Layer 1. Layer 2 is not just that they're focused on somewhere, but you give them things to focus on. I'm standing up here to make you focus on the fact that your crouch medium kick works. I'm doing this so that you focus on that. Because you're not ready for what I'm going to do to you. Because you're over there with your attention. You're somewhere else. You're doing other... And it's a very, very important thing, or not even just Street Fighter 5, but any fighting game, to learn how to give your opponent things to focus on. He stands up too much here. I'm going to do crouch medium kick. Because now it gives you a sense of authority. It gives you a sense of control. But you have no control. You're taking 60 damage. Wow. You know what I mean? I'm just illustrating the example. But I'm thinking about where the big damage is. I'm going to make you neutral jump so I can take 60% with this Aegis. I'm going to whiff punish this so I can get a super combo. I'm going to check the dash with this thing that take... My stuff is big damage. Forward, quarrel punch, hard tackle, CA. Chunky. Crouch medium punch, crouch fierce, whiff headbutt, crouch fierce, metallic spear, tackle. Everything is about the big damage. Focusing on where you can get the big damage stuff. While you give your opponents little seeds, little chicken seeds. Yeah, you feed on those. Okay, I hope you like your little pork scratchings over there. You know, hope you like those little crumbs I'm giving you. Now, when your opponent starts to add the stuff to what you're giving them, then you have to change the focus. So let's say, for example, he starts checking the, he starts confirming now into the crouch medium kick DP. Let's say he starts doing that. I would then need to start blocking that to switch his focus somewhere else. Oh, he's doing that. Okay, let me start blocking that, because blocking that puts a wall up. No access. Blocking teaches the opponent they do not have an opening here. If I do 5 overheads and all 5 get blocked, the opponent has taught me there's no access here. There's no room at the in. You can't get in. You can't take damage with this move. If every time you dash, your dash gets checked, there's no access here. You can't get in like this. These are communication cues. Fighting games are communication. They're conversations. When people are playing fighting games with each other that know the game and know the system to this degree, they're having a conversation. There is open dialogue here. And people don't often recognize that because visually you don't see that if you don't understand the game. But we're having a conversation. Can I dash here? No, you can't. Okay, thanks for telling me. All that was a dash, jab, 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 kick, short kick. The communication. Can I throw you here? Yeah, go on then, throw me. Okay, thanks. Jam hard, kick, throw. There's communication. We're talking to each other. And based on the information I got from our 3 times 99-second conversation, is that, or more than that, we had more than 3 rounds, excuse me. But yeah, there's 5 rounds or whatever. That's the information that was collected in that time. And I gave access to certain parts of, you know, in my communication, I gave him information on certain parts of me, and he gave me information on certain parts of him. And inside of that, we both gave up information we didn't want the other one to figure out, because he's a smart player. So he worked some stuff out, and so did I. And then it's a bit of trickery and skullduggery in how you utilize that. And that's, in a simple form, how fighting games work. So yeah, there you go. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed that. That was the breakdown of the final round of me versus Ceelows at EVO 2022 on Street Fighter V. Check out more videos coming soon. I'm going to do a full EVO breakdown for you guys. I know you've been waiting for it, and we're going to get into that juicy content very soon. So take care, guys, and I'll see you for the next video.